Hey everyone, and welcome to today's class. In this class I want to teach you how to play Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits. I'll be breaking down all the techniques to make sure that by the end of the class you'll be able to play the song from start to finish. Let's begin with the chord shapes. The first chord is D minor, which is a bar chord from the first string to the third string with your index finger, and you'll need to add your ring finger to the fourth string, 7th fret. The next chord is C. The next chord is B flat, and the transition is very simple because all you gotta do is shift your C chord 2 frets down. You'll get the same shape. The next chord is F, a full bar chord on the 5th string, and add the pinky to fret 8 on the 1st string. The next chord is a beautiful C shape where you need to press with your ring finger on the 7th fret 1st string. Strings 4, 3, and 2 will be open. And now we go to another beautiful C chord. 4th string open, 3rd string open, index finger on the 2nd string fret number 8, and pinky on the 12th fret on the 1st string. The next chord is again a C, but a different one, so you'll need to shift between the 12th fret on the 1st string to the 10th on the 1st string. So it results in 0, 0, 8, 10. And now I want to jump to the very final part of the song where we have the C chord, the one that we all know very well, 0, 0, 0, 3. So now what we did, we just got a bit of the taste from the chords. I'm sure that some of these shapes are new to you, so what is important to do is to work on the transition between each chord. So I'll give you an example of how you can practice it. So if we look at the very first chord, the DM, I want you to try and connect it in rhythm to the next chord, which is C. So as you can see, there is a lot of similarity between the shapes, both having some kind of a bar chord going on, and your ring finger is constantly pressing on the 4th string. So if you look at the transition between those two chords, I'm simply sliding from one another and trying to maintain the same shape, well, as close as possible to the same shape. So here's a great exercise for you to help you practice every transition between every chord. So we start with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and DM to the C and keeping the rhythm. So as you can see, I was playing it in rhythm, strictly with rhythm. A good advice is to work with a click track, with a metronome. And the next thing we should be working on is a transition between the C to the B flat, which is a lot easier because the shape is 100% the same. You literally need to slide it 2 frets back. So here we go, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and C to the B flat. Now this is your homework. I want you to check out every transition, every gluing point between every chord in the song. If you consider yourself a beginner ukulele player, here is another great exercise to help you with the chords. Everything we're working on should be done in rhythm. Remember, that's very important. This is the frame of the song, the rhythm, the beat. So here's the exercise. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and D, M, and open the fingers. D, M, and open the fingers. 1 and 2 and 3 and... So this exercise will help you memorize the shapes and build muscle memory in your fingers. So make sure to work on it a little bit every day. So we've talked about the left hand, the chord shapes and the techniques. Let's move on to the right hand and talk about the rhythm and the strumming technique. So first let's begin with understanding the notation. Let's look at the score. The first movement in front of you is a down strum, which is written as a letter D. After that, there is a horizontal line, and that's the interesting part. So horizontal line can mean two things. It's either a down movement or an up movement, and it all has to do with the location of where it's written. So if this horizontal line is written on a number such as 1, 2, 3, or 4, I'm talking about the beat. The beat is written below the strumming, right? So if it's written on 1, 2, 3, or 4, the down beats, that means you go down with your hand, but you don't actually strum. You go right above the string, so you just mark the movement. Now, if it's written above the pluses, the upbeat, that means the opposite. You go up, you do an up movement, but you don't strum the strings. The next thing I want to explain is the notation of the X. The X is a chuck which is a right-hand percussive technique where we mute the strings with the thumb while at the same time strumming the strings, which is pretty much an imitation of the snare drum. The next notation is the letter U, which stands for strum up. So now I want to give you a great exercise on how to work on the rhythm. Let's look at the first bar. Let's take the left hand off, so you don't need to press anything. Of course, you can also keep it on a very simple chord, but I don't want you to do any movement with your left hand. So the entire attention should go to the right hand technique. Let's play that bar, the first bar, and the notation, the exact notation of the rhythm, the strumming, in the correct way without anything, any movement in your left hand. So check it out. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's try to do it together. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and down, skip, chuck, up, down. So now, if you succeeded doing that, let's include the left hand, so let's include the shapes into the rhythm. Now that we understand the notation, let's try to play the first bar and only the first bar together. Let's do it slowly. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we stop there. Let's do it again, even slower. 3 and 4 and down, skip, chuck, up, down, up, chuck, up. Make sure to switch the chords in the right spot. And I suggest you to play it on repeat a few times until you get it in your system. Try to build muscle memory and also just memorize this bar so you don't have to read from the score. Needless to say, the exercise that I just explained with the rhythm, you should take it further and work on every bar individually until you remember the rhythm, until your right hand knows what it's doing. I would like to cut it short and move to the transition between bar 1 and bar 2. So let's play these two bars together with the right chord progression. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Make sure not to get confused with the horizontal lines. As I said in the beginning, the lines can mean different things. It's either a down movement or an up movement. Now let's move on to the third bar. So I'll be playing bar 1, 2 and 3. Try to follow. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, let's move on and add the fourth bar. Let's start from the beginning, bar 1, 2, 3 and 4. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 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 3 and 4 and now let's play it a little bit faster. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the entire song has 8 bars, where bars 1, 2 and 3 are identical to bars 5, 6 and 7. Therefore, I want us to jump to the very final bar of the song, bar number 8. Let's have a look at it together. So before I teach you the final bar, I want you to hear it. So let me play it for you. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let's look at the tabs. First of all, you have 2 in brackets, a small 2 connected to a 4. So that means a slide, a very fast slide between the 2nd fret on the 3rd string to the 4th. Let's try to do it together with our middle finger. After that, we go to the 3rd fret on the 2nd string with our index finger. We plug that. to the 5th fret on the same string with our ring finger, and to the 3rd fret on the 1st string with our index finger. And as for the right hand, you can use the thumb to do all the plucking. Let's try to play these tabs together. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And the second half of this bar has a bit of strumming going on. So you need to strum up, down, up on the C chord. Now let's try to play this bar together in rhythm. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's do it again. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Up, down, up. Alright guys, we worked on all the parts. Let's play it from the beginning until the end 2 times. That will be 16 bars. 3 and 4 and. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, don't forget to click on the subscribe button. Also, if you want to spice up your ukulele playing to the next level, I'm welcoming you to join to my Patreon community, where I'm doing weekly live classes, releasing tabs, and giving tips and tricks about how to progress with this instrument. Make sure to check it, the link is in the description. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Bye bye.